Hey guys, welcome back to I guess what we'll call shop talk, because we're in my little wooden leather shop here. It's a very messy wooden leather shop, and I wanted to bring something up that another thing I've been noticing a lot, social media, YouTube, all over, is the entry level. Okay, and more precisely, entry-level scopes, entry-level rifle scopes. What constitutes an entry-level rifle scope? I got some ideas. My opinion on this is that the entry-level rifle scopes are scopes that 99% of people who hunt with their rifles are fine with. They're functional, tough, hold zero, and do a pretty darn good job. The reason they call them entry level is so that people who want to spend X amount of dollars on a rifle scope buy this entry level with hopes they can upgrade. All right, this is more of the stuff that I believe is driven by the hunting industries, the different manufacturers and distributors and advertisers of hunting equipment. It's just like a grunt tube. This grunt tube goes back. The other grunt tube goes back. This grunt tube goes back, but ours is the best because it goes back. I mean, come on. All right, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. Entry level. So let's say I'm going to take, for instance, a scope that I have on a rifle that you probably laugh about, and it's okay. I have a Savage 110-270, a Woodstock Savage, and I have a Vortex Crossfire, and it's a 4x12x40. And I want to say that I paid like $129 or $139 for the scope. I bought the scope, the rail, and the rings, and I cleaned everything really good. I blue Loctited everything down, and when I got my ring set, I used a Wheeler scope mounting kit, which comes with two pointers that you put in the back ring and the front ring and bring them together to make sure the scope mounts are aligned. The scope rings are aligned. Once they're aligned, you torque the screws down. All right, and they're blue Loctited. Well, once you get that done, the Wheeler kit comes with a rod. It resembles the bolt from a bolt action rifle, and you put lapping compound on them and make 3 or 4 passes and stop. Take a paper towel or a rag and wipe the lapping compound out, and every time you do that, I don't care who makes the scope rings, whether they're Leupold, Vortex, Burris, who makes them, there's going to be minimal contact. You'll see very little, right on the edges of the scope rings where the scope lays in them, you'll see little shiny spots. So if you take a scope and you just lay it in the rings and throw the caps on there and tighten it down, all that's holding it is the area where those shiny spots are. So you take this lapping tool and you put more compound on it and you lap it in, you twist it as you're going. What this does is it trues it up and brings them level and creates more contact. You don't want to go too deep with it to where when you put your caps on, it won't clamp on the scope. But I like to go to where I at least have 50% contact on each one, at least. Then you clean everything up really good. I like to use denatured alcohol or something to clean it up real good. Lay your scope in there. Put a level on the elevation turret and level this thing up, put the caps on, snug them down, and then torque them with blue Loctite. Okay, I'm telling you that because I've been into big box stores, hunting, outdoor recreation stores, that have something to do with bass, and they're not exactly amateur. You could get where I'm going. And they're mounting scopes on these rifles, and they're just popping the rail or mounts and the rings out, screwing it all together, lay a scope in there, look at the crosshairs and tighten it down. The end. And you can get a basic bore sight job. Well, when I set up a scope, I like to use the Wheeler kit. It's very beneficial. I think this thing was like $60, and God knows how many scopes I've done for people. And once you get done, I use a bore sighter that goes in the end of the barrel with the grid, and I line it up. And you're going to be on paper, and in most cases, you're going to be within 3 inches of bullseye. All right, so properly mounting a scope is a big deal. If you have one of these entry-level scopes and it's properly mounted and properly sighted in, most people are deer hunters, elk hunters, whatever you're hunting, hog hunters, they're never going to exceed the ability of that scope. I don't care who you are. So back to my Savage 110. I put a Vortex Crossfire on there. That's their entry-level scope, and sighted it in, and that was 3 years ago. And before I go hunt with it, whether it's hog hunting in the summertime on private property or public land hunting for deer and bear, whatever I'm going after, I shoot this rifle. I shoot several times a year. I'm not one of those guys that gets a rifle out right before season, fires 3 rounds in a circle and says, hey, good. It's good to stay in practice. Not that I'm any better than anybody. It's just the way I like to do things. I like to know when I go hunting that rifle is on. It's just me. So since I put that Vortex Crossfire on there, I have not taken the adjustment turret caps off. Every time I shoot it, it's pretty much right where it was within my abilities at 100 yards. And it's like a 1.5 MOA gun with me shooting it out of a lead sled. Maybe somebody else get it under an inch. I don't care, because I don't need it under an inch. I'm here for practical use. But that being said, I have a rifle right here to show you for that. Now this is and the gun is clear. And this is my TC Venture 270 short mag. This is my honey rifle. There is no magazine in it, and I showed you it's clear. Don't freak out. This thing, it comes out of the box sub MOA, and they stand behind it, and by George, it is. If you'll notice the Vortex emblem on there, and this is a big deal. The scope mounts, 2 scope mounts to hold the caps on, has 12 screws. I love that. If you bump this scope, you're gonna break it before you move it. All right. So I love that aspect of it. It's mounted really well and everything. And you say, well, how's that Crossfire do? Well, this isn't a Crossfire. This is the Vortex Diamondback. All right. It's still considered a semi-entry level scope, but where the other one's $129, this one's like, I think it was like $259 or $269. Don't hold me to that. I could be off $10 one way or the other. But it's a great scope. I love Vortex optics. Why am I telling you this? Because to be honest with you, if this rifle had the Vortex Crossfire on it, I'd be just as happy. I don't see twice the money in this scope as I do the Crossfire. It's not any clearer. You know, I mean, it's basically almost the same scope. I mean, this one too is a 4x12, but this one's 44 millimeter. I will admit that. And no, I take that back. It's 40 millimeter, excuse me. So it's the same power, the same objective, everything's the same. And I have shot these rifles multiple times, and I wouldn't walk across the street for the difference. Now this is one step up from the entry level. The entry level is, you can buy 2 of them for the price of this one. And in the future, that's what I'll be doing. Now, I'm hoping I'm not losing you guys. I'm trying to explain my opinion of what all this entry level is. It's the, oh, well, if this guy's got $300 in his budget to buy this product, we're going to provide a product. We're going to have it made in China or the Philippines or wherever, and we're going to provide to him. But there's going to be a certain amount of shaming going on so that we can shame him into getting out of that entry level optic and getting into one of our $1,000 Vipers or whatever the case is, whoever the manufacturer is. And it's all of them. It's not just Vortex. It's not just Burris. It's all of them. They all have an entry level, and they want to shame you into spending $1,000 for the upgrade. That's business, man, you know. But at the same time, a lot of people think they're holding inferior products and hunting with inferior products because I'm poor or it's not in my budget, and I'm a lesser person and a lesser hunter than this other person who has this Carl Zeiss $2,000, you know. Carl Zeiss is an awesome optic. I don't need that, nor do I want that. If I have a budget of $2,000, I'm probably going to buy a bunch of Vortex Crossfires for multiple rifles I have and rifles that I buy in the future. Anyway, pretty much all of you are going to know what this is. This is my Marlin 336 CS. This is a deer slayer. And this rifle, and if you look at it, she's in really fantubulous condition. Hey, there's a character mark here and there, a little light scratch here and there and things. This is a 1978 Marlin. All right, has the JM stamp on the barrel, the whole 9 yards. It's a good little rifle. It's the best rifle that I've ever shot until I got my Henry, and I still wouldn't trade you reliability because I don't know the Henry that well yet. But if you'll notice what's on top of this rifle, and it has the old see-through mounts on it, see-through weavers. All the sights are still on it, the old buckhorns and whatnot with the hooded front. This, it's kind of hard to tell. Oh, it's on the back, sorry. Kind of seems upside down. It's a Tasco. Woo-hoo. I think I put this scope in here when I got out of high school. And the scope's got a few scratches, but this thing, man, has made so many trips through the woods and the brush and tree stands and you name it. It's been there. So why do I tell you this? I mounted this scope when I got out of high school. When I bought the rifle used. And I got out of high school in 1988. All right. I should have been 87, but that's another story. But I got out in 88. And probably 89-ish, I put this scope on there. All right. This is 2023. I set the scope up, dialed it in, and hits within 2 inches of 0 at 100 yards. So I'm good with that. And I'm a deer hunter. I'll take this in to hunt bear too. It's got the old, somebody got a dime adjuster on it. And I set it up. And you may be able to tell, I don't know, I don't think it's gonna come in very well. But everything around here, the threads in it still look brand new. You know why? Because until I just took this off a minute ago, these scopes adjustment turret caps have not been off here since 1989. I can take this rifle outside right now and set up a target at 100 yards, and I'm going to be, depending on the wind, depending on myself, depending on what I'm shooting off of, I'm going to be inside 2 inches, maybe 3 today, because the wind's blowing like a screaming banshee outside. That's why I'm inside doing this. This is a Tasco, man. This scope came from a store in Easley, South Carolina, that's long since gone out of business, called TGNY. I don't know what TGNY stood for. It was a department store. But that's where the scope came from. 10 years before I got it, the rifle came from TGNY. And this rifle, I don't know if you know what they sell for now, even the Remington Marlins, which people claim are junk. I don't know. I don't own one. I would love to get my hands on one, check it out. But this rifle, when it was bought new in 1978, was $179. And now, one of the original Marlins, I've seen a couple on Bud's Gun Shop and Gun Broker and different things, going for over $1,400. That's crazy. And I've got a scope on it. It probably costs $29, maybe $39 or $49. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. Is it good if you can afford and it falls into what you need? Let's say you're a long range shooter. Let's just go up toward the top echelon. You're a long range shooter and you have a special built 6.5 Creedmoor with a bull barrel and it's set up for busting paper all day long. And you want to put a night force on there, $1,500, $2,000. That's great. It's your money. Do what you want to with it. But if I'm a deer hunter, I'd rather put a $129 Vortex Crossfire on my deer rifle and have enough money to buy another deer rifle or a shotgun and another Vortex Crossfire. That's just me and my needs and my personal preference. Yours may be different. I'm not saying you're an evil person or you're wasteful or anything if you do that. But people need to quit shaming people who have great functional products on their firearms, on their bows, on their whatever they're hunting with. The Bear Adapt bows, the bow I have. Okay, it came out last year. I didn't get the hunting public version of it. It's just a regular Bear Adapt bow. The bow shoots great. The bow's smooth. The draw cycle's awesome. The wall's awesome. And I can group, and it's quiet, and I love it. It was $400 out the door with the sights, the rests, stabilizer, everything on it. And I got a dozen free arrows because it was a sale going on. So stop shaming people. If I was a multi-millionaire, and if somebody told me, said, Mike, would you grab that TC Venture 270 short mag with the Vortex Diamondback? And I'll admit I have a Browning X-Bolt in my house with a loophole on it that I'm about to sell the whole rifle because it's just not me. I mentioned that in another video, and I'm waiting on people to roast me over that. Damn, Browning X-Bolt's a nice rifle. And that little rifle shoots great, wonderful, fantastic. It's just not me. The stock's shorter. The length of pull's not right. It just don't feel right to me. And you might know what that means. It's a fantastic rifle. But if someone were to ask me, out of all the rifles you own, okay, my everything, what rifle and setup, if you had to grab it in a box of bullets right now, would you run out the door with if you had to depend on it to save your life and kill game and keep your family alive? That's it. Marlin 336 CS. Now, I don't understand. I know Ruger is supposed to be releasing their version, and I don't know if you can see the JM on there or not, but it's right back here. I think you can sort of see it. But anyway, Ruger's supposed to be releasing this spring their version of a Marlin because apparently Remington screwed it up with their quality control. Again, I can't say that. I've never owned a Remington Marlin. I got two of these. One I don't have a scope on. It's just iron sights. That's where I'm going to leave it. And now Ruger's making this gun, but it's taken them an extended period of time to come up with the tooling and the design and engineering on a rifle that's been being made as of this year, for 75 years. I don't understand that. But when they come out, I'm thinking about getting it in a 45, not the 4570 is already out, limited production. I'm thinking about getting a 4570 trapper. I don't know yet. It won't have a scope on it, but if it does, I'll probably put a Vortex Crossfire on it. But anyway, that's my little spiel. That's what I wanted to fuss about. You know, everybody has their opinion. I'm entitled to mine. You're entitled to yours. If you want to scream at me, if you want to disagree with me, I welcome that, literally. And I'm not just trying to get comments and likes. I really do welcome that. And I invite you to leave a comment below and tell me why you disagree. If you agree, great. Give me a thumbs up and tell me you agree and why you disagree. Don't just say I agree. Give me a little short what's your experience? What's your experience with entry-level equipment? Because I'll tell you, of everything I've seen, entry-level does the job. You know, I'll spend $129, $159, whatever it is for a Crossfire and have enough money left over to buy a rifle. You know, that's just me. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I don't hang with the Joneses. It's just where I'm at. If you like that finer quality stuff and you're into it, that's great. That's like I paid $1,000 for a 44 Magnum lever action rifle. I paid a little premium because they're hard to get, but that's what I wanted. And if you want a $2,000 scope on your rifle, that's your business. But don't shame the people who don't have that on their rifle. They may be able to afford it and just are more frugal and spend their money in other places. But I'm going to cut this short. I've got a habit of getting really long-winded to make a point. I apologize for that. But if you like the stuff you see on here, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I've got series coming up. I have a notebook with outlines in it for my next 82 videos. Yeah, I even have a life too. But I like talking to you guys. I'm having fun with this. I like sharing my opinion. I like sharing my hunting experience. And I'm going to start filming some hunts this coming year. I got a couple of GoPros in, and I'm probably about to order a Tacticam, and we're going to see how that goes. And but anyway, I appreciate it, folks, and I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. And until next time, God bless you.